Before we load a screen into the press, we need to take the necessary safety precautions. Lab safety glasses, closed-toed shoes, and long pants are required. Long hair and sleeves should be pulled back. Students are also encouraged to wear an apron. Carefully slide the screen into the press from the right side. Avoid hitting the edges of the press bed, as they could cause the mesh to pop. After sliding the screen into the press, place the metal clamps stored below the press onto the long sides of the screen. Position the clamps so that they sit below the fastening screws. Once positioned correctly, loosen the wing nuts and slide the bar forward until the clamps are flush with the bar. Tighten the screws to lock the position of the screen. Run the press by pressing both ring buttons. Once the rotating arm begins to bend downward, press the emergency stop bar to stop the press. Next, unscrew the silver knobs facing the front of the press. Once there is a large enough gap, slide the flood bar into the notch. Hold the flood bar at the proper height with one hand and retighten the knobs with the other. Use a piece of tape to seal the edges of the mesh to ensure that ink doesn't get in between the mesh and the frame of the screen. Failing to do this could result in ink drying in the gap, which could cause the screen to pop. Once the tape is applied, run the press. Use a spatula to spread an even layer of ink in front of the flood bar. Run the press through a single cycle to check ink coverage. If the ink is not spread thinly and evenly, adjust the flood bar. Load the squeegee into the open grooves next to the flood bar. After the squeegee is positioned, use the knobs below the press to lock it in place. Run the press through a cycle and check ink coverage. Adjust the squeegee as necessary to apply an even layer of ink. Next, tape a clear piece of plastic film to the bed of the press. Run a single print cycle. Lift one side of the plastic film and slide a piece of paper underneath it. Use the registration tab next to the press to mark the position of the paper. To further register the press, loosen the knobs on either side of the press bed. This will unlock the press bed. Use the knobs on the front of the press to move the bed backward and forward. The knob on the right side of the press will move the bed right and left. When positioned correctly, lock the bed in place. Now we're ready to do the actual printing. Place the paper according to the position of the registration tabs. Run the press. Place the printed sheet into the orange racks to dry.